That's how people get frustrated. That's how people become susceptible. They get confused. And when people get confused, they will follow. They will follow anyone who claims to have an answer, claims to have an explanation. When they lose their place in the world, when they lose their kids' place in the world, their kids' future in the world and in the universe, they will follow anyone who will give them a solid, simple, and optimistic, I'm at the center of the universe explanation. This is the crux and the core of religion. I don't know doesn't sit well with human beings. Enough of these people congregated together, you've got a tribe. And eventually you've got somebody who's going to come up with that cohesive narrative, that story, that explanation, that internal enemy. They are the ones who have the key, the soul map to utopia, heaven, freedom. I've said 100 million times, really, it feels that way, a lot, that the next evolution has nothing to do with thumbs. Maybe losing a vertebrae out of the tailbone. No, it's going to be an evolution, an expansion in collective self-awareness. Understanding who and what we are, our own limitations, our inability to, maybe unwillingness, to perceive the world as it is because of the tools, the defective tools of perception. That's going to be it. Collective self-awareness. It has to be, because we're not going to survive this technology if that doesn't happen. People have been the same for thousands of years. We've hardly evolved at all since we left the jungle. What's changed recently is the technology. These phones, the stuff that I'm recording on, right here, and that guy back there. This isn't Ma Bell running a line into your house. Global communication devices. You can communicate with any other human being on the planet instantaneously, directly, one-to-one. When I was a kid, when I was younger, when I was a young man, that type of power, that type of communication power, informational power, unheard of. What did we unleash? You talk about chaos, informational chaos, throwing human beings into a state of chaos, existential chaos. And again, I go back to it. When people get confused, when they find themselves in a state of chaos, chaos can be opportunity. A lot of people, most people don't see it that way. They don't want chaos. They want things orderly. They want an explanation. They want things explained for them in terms that they can understand and in terms that are agreeable. Moving forward, putting them or their children, whoever, people they care about, in a good place, on the right side in a battle of good and evil. They don't just want it, they demand it. If you can't give it to them, they're going to go find somebody else who will. Think about what that's done. Data overload, swimming in data. I've talked about that a million times. I'm going to talk about it a million more. Drowning in information. The data, information, knowledge, wisdom pyramid that I've talked about, data down here, you're swimming in it. You can't get to information. There's just too much data to sort through. You can't make any sense out of it. You can't get to the information, let alone knowledge and wisdom. Come on. This is the pathway to empathy that I've talked about 100 times. Pretty soon people they become overwhelmed. I have all the time in the world. I am the luckiest person I know in that I have all the time in the world to study this stuff, to research it, to analyze, to think about it, let alone do this. Who else has time to do that? Think about it. I have thought about it. I didn't appreciate that for a really long time. But y'all are busy. Y'all have lives, kids, bills, jobs, sometimes 2 jobs. You're exhausted. You're tired. How are people supposed to navigate this? This is the pathway to empathy. And I go back and forth on this, man. I do. There are days, there are hours. There are minutes where I'll sit here and I'll be like, yeah, I get it. I understand that. Boy, that's rough. Yeah, I understand. But it doesn't change anything. You can understand how you got cancer. You still got cancer. What are you going to do about it? I go back and forth. I mean, I have this whole piece, and this is going to be good, called the God-devil parable. This is like the good and the bad. Like human beings we're split right down the middle. God-devil parable in religion. This externalized good and evil, rather than internalizing it within all of us. But that's kind of how I feel sometimes. Like I really want to be sympathetic, and I really want to understand, and I really want to, I guess, help. Thumb in the ass again. But then it says that there's other days where I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? You see what's going on, and you don't even try, you don't even care, but bang, it's a loop. But if you give into that, if you surrender to the fact that people are just too tired, they can't lift their brains up anymore, they just got, you're done. You're at the mercy of whatever information you happen to stumble onto that day. Whatever deceptions, whatever deceit you happen to run into, you're at the mercy of it every single day, every minute, every second now. So what's the answer? What is the answer? I said a couple of years ago, triage mitigation. That has not changed one iota.